All right. We are live. Let me play that real quick. Good afternoon or good evening. How you guys doing?
All right.
Good.
Good.
Right. Doing great.
What
Good
up?
to see everybody. We got some
quite a few
special
people
guests on the we got some special guests on here with us tonight.
We're special, all right.
Yeah. A lot of people told it.
We'll let this build up a little bit. It looks like we've already got a good amount popping on here tonight.
Yeah.
Cool.
Quite
What's
a
up,
few,
Harrelson? John, Evan, Florida Jerry.
From Minnesota. What's he doing in Minnesota? Yeah, we'll give him a couple minutes or about a minute or so to hop on, and then we're going to introduce our special guests for this evening, and then kind of introduce them, talk to them a little bit. If you guys have questions throughout this live broadcast for Dave or Dan with Hooked On Headwaters, just drop that comment section or drop that question in the comment section, and I will just pop them up on the screen for you, Dave and Dan. And as we go along, we'll just kind of answer those questions and. And we'll let Todd is going to be the one leading today's interview with Dave and Dan. So me and Sean are just going to sit back and monitor the comment section and kind of chime in as we see fit. But this is a great opportunity for you guys to, one, get to meet Dave and Dan, who we got to meet at ICAST this past year, but two, also ask them a lot of questions in regards to our upcoming event and so on and so forth. So, again, like I said, we'll wait just another minute or so, and then we'll start with the interview with you guys. So.
I wore this especially for you, Bailey.
The man.
That's what you said the last live. You mentioned that, so I said I'll wear this the next time.
Yeah. If you guys look behind Todd, you're going to see our new Florida Kayak Bass Trail banner for the year with all of our main sponsors too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We'll have to raffle off the OG one right there.
Yeah, we'll all sign it and raffle it off.
Yeah.
I want to know what I got to do to get that big Rapala bait over there behind Dave and Dan. That thing right there should catch a megalodon on Headwaters.
Yeah.
Might catch one of those big gators. I'm going to tell you this right here, Dave, and I'm sure y'all see it. I got video. The last time I was out on Headwaters, I was surrounded by 13 alligators, and I guarantee, and I mean they were all within, throwing a rock distance of one another. So I don't know if they're getting ready to mate out there or what they're doing, but it made me uncomfortable a little bit. I panned it a 360 on my kayak, and I mean they're not small gators either.
No.
I think their mating season is basically over. I could be wrong. I think they do a little bit earlier in the year, but
yeah,
there's been a lot more gators. There was a guy I saw. I made a post up somewhere way up north. On the northern end of Headwaters, and there was literally gators everywhere, way more than 13 ever. Guy Aiden, he posted it. Yeah. I've had a video, but they were kind of snapping. I think they were feeding on garfish or something.
Yeah, I came across one. I was actually in Stick Marsh, and at the distance, it looked like a culvert pipe laying along the side, the bank. Well, that's strange. Why is a culvert pipe in the middle of nowhere? And then I get closer. It was this huge big boy. Had to be 13 footer, 14. Massive guy just laying on its side. So they're there. I've never had any issue. Keep your distance. That's what I tell people. Scoot around them. Don't fish around them. Don't feed them, most importantly. And just give them their distance, and usually you're cool. They're cool. You're cool.
Yeah. No, it's been it kind of made me uncomfortable. I'm not really uncomfortable a lot around the gators, but this time I was uncomfortable, and I got out of that area pretty quick. But Yeah, there's been some big sightings out there. Are they allowing the gator hunting too? Because I've noticed that there's a lot more hunters out there kind of early morning.
I don't know if they're allowed to gator hunt there yet.
They were in Stick Marsh.
They were in
They
Stick Marsh.
were hunting in Stick Marsh.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
about Headwaters. Now, there's no night operations in
Right.
Headwaters, so
Right.
that would eliminate any hunting during the night.
Yeah, no, this was on Stick Marsh parking lot around like right before Safe Light. They launched, and when I returned, they had a fairly, 11, 12 footer in the back in their boat. So, it was a big gator, and
there's my understanding of the permitting process. You get specific lakes or specific areas, and then from north and northwest of Stick Marsh, you're talking miles and miles of marsh all the way up to Three Forks, and then all the way to the St. Johns River. And big lizards up there.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. So all right. So we got quite a few folks, guys. So I'll toss it over to you, Dan or Todd, so you can introduce the folks, and we'll move on.
All right. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this for us. For those of you listening and for those that are watching this later, we have Dave Morales and Dan Hand. They're both on the Hooked On Headwaters. Dan Hand has a fishing guide service there on Headwaters. Fish Hand Guide Service, am I correct?
Guide service.
Yeah. And then Dave Morales, you have a kayaking guide service, which is Living Waters Kayaking, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, I figure maybe if you guys go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourselves, whichever one of you want to go first, and just kind of tell us a little bit about your business, and then hopefully maybe we can get some guys to hook up with you guys and do a little guiding service, and go from there. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll start with my name is Dave, and I'll start with the Hooked on Headwaters channel first. So we started the Hooked on Headwaters YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and our objective was to make someone's fishing experience better when they on their way to or when they fished Headwaters Lake. So we provided a lot of information for those who might be out of town, who aren't familiar with the area. Lots of folks call us to where to stay, where to eat. We also do a lot of, if you go to our channel, you'll see a lot of navigation or navigating the lake videos, which gets most views. It's not a typical Florida lake. The landscape changes. We've got lots of floating vegetation islands, and they can change the landscape even while you're fishing. So we try and help people get around without getting into too much trouble at the Headwaters Lake. So that's kind of how we started. Why we started the channel, and we're really, really happy and delighted when the best comment best feedback we got once was a dad came down. I believe he was from North Carolina. Came down and fished the lake with his son, He was a young son. I believe he was 7 years old, and he was so grateful because of the navigation tapes or videos rather. Sorry, and that it made he managed to get around the lake, find fish, and it was because of the information we provided. So that's what we live for, to help folks like that. I'll go into my business. I'll turn it over to Dan. Living Waters Kayaking. I take folks fishing on pedal kayaks and motorized kayaks, saltwater trips, and some bass fishing trips on Headwaters and Lake Garcia mostly, and some Stick Marsh. And I've been doing that for several years. And again, I love taking folks out. Especially those who haven't experienced fishing on a kayak, which everyone that does it just comes away with a great experience, enjoyable time on the water, totally different. I call it the eyeball to eyeball fishing, and especially for those folks who are out of town, you really, really have a good time. So that's a little bit my background. Turn it over to Dan.
So I'm a Florida native. I was born in Clewiston, which I'm sure you guys. There's no longer a hospital in Clewiston, so it's been many years ago. But I've been in the Vero Beach area, Fellsmere area for 47 years. I got my captain's license, I think 2001, 2002. And I did part-time guiding until probably 2017. I started going full-time with it. I do all powerboat stuff. I've got a 21 Ranger, so a little bit different, but I have some insights, of course, obviously on Headwaters. Been doing that. The Headwaters really changed things for my guiding business. I did Garcia's, Stick Marsh, and some of the other lakes around. But I have tournament background back late 90s up through the early 2000, 2010, 2015. I was still fishing some tournaments. Did a lot of what used to be BFLs. Did that for many years. Had a lot of fun doing that. Now I've got kids and a job where typically on a Saturday I'm working, but at least I'm on the boat. So that's kind of my background,
Good.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you, you guys put out some really good information, a lot of good tips, not only for anglers that's been around for a while, but, really a lot for those new beginner anglers as well. Just like one recently you put out about fishing line, mono, fluoro, braid, what should you use? What are they good for? Those kind of things. So I thought that was very interesting. And, with your lake mapping and, running around the lakes, I moved here a little over a year ago, and I had no clue about Headwaters, and that was our first tournament last year, right? I've heard about it, didn't know anything about it. So what did I do? I started searching Headwaters and come across you guys' page, and I've been watching you ever since, so that's been a little over a year. So I really appreciate the work that you guys do and put out there to help us guys navigate those waters and give us a little insight on the lake. So it's very, very much appreciated. So a couple things. Let's talk about launch areas out there for kayaks.
Okay.
So,
well, officially there is a kayak launch on the map. It's the northwest corner of the lake. Unfortunately, when we have southerly winds, which been blowing from the south seems forever, that tends to get bogged in with floating vegetation island. I was out there about 2 weeks ago, did a video, and it is completely socked in. Now, doesn't mean you can't launch. You just have to haul your kayak and all your gear 100 yards, maybe 150 yards to find an opening to launch. So with as I'm sure most of you haul a lot of stuff like I do, big heavy kayaks, is nearly impossible. And so your other option is, let me go back. That area is gated. So there is a road along the levee for the workers, for the St. John Water Management folks. So you cannot drive on there, on that area. I've seen some guys haul their kayaks on bicycles, though. But of course, it must be lightweight kayaks. So the other area to launch from, you can fish Stick Marsh. It's the same area. There's a boat launch there. You can launch a kayak from there, or you can launch the kayak from the airboat ramp, which is actually pretty convenient. You back it down there. Both have sandy areas on each side of the ramp, so you can launch, keep your kayak there, park, and head back out. Now, the other area at the Headwaters is the boat ramp, which is 3 miles in from the main road, Babcock. What's that?
Fellsmere Grade Road.
Fellsmere Grade Road, but Babcock is what's that road number?
507.
507. So infamous dirt road. Everyone talks about it. It's full of. There's 1,000 trailer parts, and bolts and nuts along that road. It's a washboard road. So you will have to deal with that. But anyway, about 3 miles down the road, to the left or to the south, is the Headwaters boat ramp. You can launch the kayak from there. There's 2 ramps there. There's sandy areas to each side of it, so it's easy to either walk down the bank, drop your kayak in, go park, and launch. So those are basically the 2 areas to launch from.
Yeah.
So I have a
Nice.
question for you guys on the boat ramp, on the Fellsmere side. When are they allowed to enter into the parking lot area? I knew that I've heard rumors that there's times that you have to kind of stay outside the gate, but we did that and saw boaters just kind of going in. We don't want folks to get ticketed or anything, so we wanted to ask you guys, what is the appropriate time for them to be able to enter that parking lot, or was that just a rumor?
So the parking lot and the lake, well, that's parking lot and lake is 1 hour before sunrise.
Okay.
They haven't been super strict on it. However, we are on a lease agreement with the actual, my understanding, the property owners is not the state of the boat ramp parking lot. It's a long-term lease agreement. And that is on my understanding, is part of the lease agreement.
Yes.
So,
okay. Yeah. We just want to make sure that we're passing along the correct information for our folks. So if you see someone doing, like for us, is that again that hour leading up to safe light or sunrise is the
sunrise, 1 hour before sunrise.
Sunrise.
So you'll have about 30 minutes of dark before it's safe light. But typically, and your first tournament's in October.
October 14th, yeah.
Okay, it shouldn't be crazy like it is in, say, February. I'm sure you guys have been there in February. It's bananas. I don't think you'll have a major rush of boat traffic there or trailer traffic. You're going to have guys that are going to go in there and do whatever they want to do. But I'll wait outside. I just time it so I show up and I don't have to be tempted to go in there early,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you will be navigating to get out to where the fish are. You will be navigating the S Canal. If it's dark, just make sure those lights are on. Yeah. Wear high visibility clothing, hats, because you'll be going down a 60-foot, 70-foot wide canal.
Yeah, wide enough for two boats
Pretty
to pass
much.
with plenty of room. But there are some power boaters. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are some power boaters that don't pay any attention at all. So,
no, not out there, not at all.
But something else I was thinking of on the way up here to Dave's house is some of the areas. I'm sure we'll get into talking about it earlier. There's a lot of areas right now that have really mature water hyacinths, so they might be 3 foot high. So I know you guys got your rods sticking up. But if you have a flag or anything to give a little more visibility.
So what we actually have, we implemented it was a rule last year, but this year, last year was only a flag was required during low visibility or, certain tournaments. This year, we've implemented a flag has to be flown on your kayak from lines in till lines out.
That's a good idea.
A high orange visibility flag. So that is definitely a requirement. If you don't have one of those, or you see someone fishing in our tournament that doesn't, let them know. And that could be grounds for them to get disqualified from the tournament for not following those safety.
I apologize for the ice cream truck.
I was wondering who was getting ice cream around here. So
we're sitting outside. So
yeah.
No, I was going to say that. Oh, sorry. Good.
Sorry, no, Sean, you go ahead. You're good.
No, I was going to say the boaters haven't been a real huge issue the past few weeks we've been on there. I mean, minus a few that come plowing in right there, right at the last second. But other than that, for the most part, 99% of the boaters have been pretty pleasant to deal with.
Yeah.
But
I've never had an incident. There was an incident about, it's got to be 2 years now. It was a novice kayaker. He had made it down to the cut to the west, which is like 2.3 miles.
About 2 miles.
About 2 miles down, and a boat came around the corner really quick and swamped him, and he tipped. He tipped over. Boat did not stop. Sadly, another boater. The guy kind of freaked out. Another boater came by, picked him out of the water because he was shaken up. Picked him out of the water. Picked his kayak out of the water. Put him in the boat and return him to the launch, which is very nice of him. But so we need to be careful again. Fly your flag. Make sure you're seen. Be careful around those corners, turning them corners.
Yeah. Yeah, most
Absolutely.
definitely. We're out there. So that's exactly why. And I'm glad Dave and Dan that you brought that up, because that just goes and shows as a boater or as a boater, that's something that could help you guys see us, right? And to promote
Right. Oh yeah.
safety. You got if that's something that will help you. That's not saying that everyone's going to pay attention, but that's just one added safety measure that we've implemented this year to make sure that our anglers are safe on the water.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me and get you a bright orange Hobie, and that way everybody sees you. You know.
Then everybody knows where you're fishing.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. No, I was going to say on the safety aspect, I mean, generally what I do, I have my headlamp on, and as soon as I hear, if I'm running down the S Canal, as soon as I hear a boat coming up, I'll turn my headlamp, turn around, look at them a few times.
Yeah,
even though we all have white lights on the back of our kayaks, that headlamp's a little bit bigger light versus that 360 light. So I just give them a kind of a flash and let them know I'm there.
Yeah.
And I'll throw one thing out there since you mentioned the lights there, Sean. On your 360 lights, a great thing to do, everybody. I'm going to do it myself. You know, I run mine, you know, throughout the year, even when we're not in the tournament. Go ahead and replace your batteries right now. That way you have fresh batteries, bright light, and they're not dim. You know, if you're like me, you'll cut it on and you'll forget about it and it'll run all day and you're like, dang, you know, and then I'll cut it off and do it again the next time. So I know my batteries are starting to go thin. So be sure to do that, everyone. It's just being safe there.
One thing, Todd, if you don't mind, from a powerboater's perspective, and I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of people participating in your tournament, so it'll be a little bit different on that particular day. But keeping it, something I've had to deal with a few times with kayakers is those of you that have trolling motors. What are you guys getting, like 3 miles an hour? Some of them more, maybe?
4 to 5.
Okay, so from a powerboater's perspective, if I'm coming up on you guys and say you're going down the S Canal, we're both got to go the same way. If you guys continue at that high speed, I can't get by you without throwing a big weight because I'm plowing. So if you happen to have a guy getting up behind you, you can slow for 15, 20 seconds. We'll idle by, or at least I will idle by. Then I'll get up on plane. That way, I don't want to swamp you guys. So
so something that we've noticed with Sean and a couple of us that go out, if you stop, just let off. And what I'm doing is I'll do that, and then I'll spin around and I'll face the wake to where when they're coming, because they do have that. Because if, for instance, you're keep chugging along and that wake comes up and it kind of tosses you to the side a little bit, and if you overcorrect and swing your motor around, you're going to get thrown out. So yes, it might stop you for, again, like you said, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Oftentimes, me and Sean, we've waved them on, because the slower they go, the higher wake that they throw. It's one of those things where if they just kind of go by at not a blazing fast speed, like what is allowed in there, it typically is normally fine. But I normally swing around and just let my bow kind of take the impact of it, and then I'll turn around and go.
Yeah,
that's a little tip. So
here's one problem with that in headwaters in the S Canal. It is my understanding that there is no passing while on plane another vessel, whether either going around and overtaking them or meeting head on, which but it doesn't matter what my opinion is. That's what the rules say.
Yeah, so, no. We normally, like, what I do, it's hand signals, right? I'm like, I just like stop and I say, come on, like I'll stop, or I'm just like, go through. And because a lot of them do slow down, and then I felt bad for them. So once I noticed that they weren't passing me, I just stopped, literally just floated and turned around and just let them go. But we had someone in here say it's actually better if they just don't slow down in the canal.
Well, that depends on each personal. I mean, each guy's a little bit different. If we were all on the same page, it would be easy.
Yeah. So, but that's why we have you on here, right? So if you guys, again, that's great knowledge to know, is that they're following the rules by not passing us, then it's the right procedure for us then would be just kind of eventually just slow down, like you're saying, wave them through, right? Communicate with them, and then just let them go about their way, and then we continue about our way. So, okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're just even two power boaters are not supposed to pass one another on plane in the S Canal. So
Okay.
that's probably the only specific area.
Okay.
Well, while we're on this little subject here, a little bit about rules, can y'all give us a little bit of I guess a little lowdown on what the main rules are for Headwater, if there's any, like when you're talking about passing on plane through the S Canal, are there any other rules that we need to know about?
No fishing in the S Canal.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. I mean, you got a
Really?
lot of water to fish anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is kind of tough, especially for you guys because you are moving at a slower rate of speed. I mean, you got 2 miles of, looking at the birds and whatnot. Just like we said, no night operations, 25 miles an hour, which doesn't really affect you guys. It affects me, which is okay. I'm okay with 25. It'd be easier if they increased it to 30. Most bass boats are really not designed to go 25, but I can do it in my old barge, But all catch and release, which obviously in your tournaments, you're not keeping anything anyway. What else is there, Dave?
Circle hooks, live bait.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't
think
apply to you. If any of you guys go out and have live bait, circle hooks
DQ'd.
bait over 3 inches.
They're DQ'd.
I'm saying outside of the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I know FWC's they're, as always, they're serious about making sure you have your safety equipment, which obviously for kayaking, that's probably the most important thing to have on the boat. But other rules than that, other than what we talked about, the passing in the S Canal, speed limits, no night operations, no airboats, catch and release only, and circle hooks. That's the main gist of it.
Yeah. You might hear an airboat out there every once in a while, but it's usually it'll be FWC or St. John Water Management biologists scooting around doing their thing.
This one
Here's
says,
a question
what
for you
does
guys.
night operations mean? Does that mean we cannot enter the canal till dawn?
That means you're not supposed to be either in the parking lot at the Headwaters boat ramp. Now I'm not talking about at the kayak launch, the designated kayak launch at Stigmarsh. You're not to be in the parking lot or on the water from 1 hour after sunset until 1 hour before sunrise.
Right.
So that's what no night operations.
And I'll tell you this right now, FWC is out there. I've ran into them the last 4 times that I've been out there. And they're on the water. They've launched boats and are on the water. So
I see them more on the water than I do just sitting in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
What about at Stigmarsh, the parking lot there? Can you be in that parking lot?
No restrictions whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
No restrictions. So you could go and sit in your truck all night if you wanted to.
Correct.
Okay, because we did have some folks asking. So Dave and Dan, also, if you guys are interested or need information on where to possibly stay or lodge or eat or whatever in that general area, drop a comment in here as well. I know we had a couple comments on our Facebook page this week asking about lodging,
Airbnbs or lodging
or whatever. So if that's something you guys can provide us, we would share that, or you guys can talk about that a little bit here as well.
Sure. I actually have a friend. I was at his Airbnb today. Very nice house in Sebastian. It'd probably take 20 minutes to get to the end of the dirt road for Headwaters. Really nice house. There's a lot of places in the area between Palm Bay and Sebastian. But I can provide his information. Happy to do that.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to do that, we'll share it.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's a cluster of hotels at a couple of exits before the St. John Parkway exit, which would be the exit off 95. So Palm Bay, the 2 exits in Palm Bay will have most of the hotels right off the highway.
There's stuff in the city of Sebastian has some nightlife stuff. I mean, if you want to make sure your buddies don't show up at 100%, they can go down and hang out, have a few too many. Yeah. But no, there's some nice places in Sebastian. It's literally on the water. You got some really good restaurants. That we're not affiliated with any of them, but you got Captain Hiram's is a good. It's really nice atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Jamaican place, Mobay Grill, the Crab Stop, which Jerry, another guy that's on our channel with us, that's his favorite place to go. You can get snow crabs and stone crabs and stuff like that.
Nice. And there's some locations that y'all talk about, I guess, that y'all are affiliated with on your Headwaters show that y'all talk about being able to stay at, right?
Yeah.
Like Cypress.
Blue Cypress Lakeside Cabins, pretty cool place to stay. It's about what did you say, 35 minutes?
40? Yeah, probably 40 minutes.
40-minute run from the boat ramp at Headwaters. But,
it's quite a ways. You're much closer as the crow flies, because you have to drive around.
Big loop
all the way around from Blue Cypress. There's one way and one out. But it's a cool place. If some of you guys have a couple extra days, I feel like the Blue Cypress Lake is probably the most beautiful lake I've been on in the state. It's gorgeous.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Totally surrounded. All the shorelines are cypress trees.
Yeah.
Little bit different kind of fishing because you got like a tea-colored water. There's no that I'm aware of. There's no hydrilla in the lake. It's Kissimmee grass, lily pads, cattails, maybe some buggy whips, and then cypress trees and really cool.
Sounds like the Claremont chain.
I haven't been on Claremont, but I've heard it's probably a bit similar.
Yeah.
Hey, so Dave and Dan, I got a question here for you. Just as I've been scrolling through the comments, I will let you guys address this because we talked about it a little bit before the live. But Robert Phillips asked, "What happened to the vegetation in Stick Marsh?"
Okay. Well, the project, according to FWC, it was a FWC-led project, and they went to the south end of Stick Marsh, and they ripped out some old vegetation, removed some old vegetation, and introduced new vegetation along that where the eelgrass. So those who are familiar, there's a lot of eelgrass in that area, that south end, along that entire south end. The project started in February and ran through August.
Now they lowered the water.
It took time to lower the water to about, as we said earlier, to about 3-4 feet in some places.
Now, if he's asking about what happened to it years ago, I've heard a lot of scuttlebutt about it. It was a bunch of chemical that got spilled, and I heard it was because of something that happened over by Blue Cypress. I think a lot of what may have happened, and this is just my idea, back years ago we had some hurricanes that, for instance, like Garcia's, which is just shares a levee with Headwaters to the south, or basically shares a levee. I remember in 2004 that the hurricanes balled up the hydrilla and rolled it balls the size of my truck and pushed it to the south end. And that similar things happened on Stick Marsh. And I think possibly some of it could be from hurricane ripping the hydrilla out, because it gets rough out there because there's no hydrilla now. And the water's been dirty for a really long time. Not enough sunlight to get the grass to grow. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure there's somebody else with a more accurate idea of what it is, but it could be one of those three things.
So the lead biologist of the project will be on our YouTube channel. We're just getting through a lot of paperwork that needs to happen before that officially takes place, and they've promised to explain the objectives of the project, what the expected outcome is. So hopefully we'll have more answers for us.
Yeah, and then Jeff here to kind of to finish that off, he said, is recently drained. He's just asking, is it back to normal now and at a high/normal level?
The water's up. When I was there, now I haven't put my boat in there obviously since probably February, maybe. I can't remember. My days run together. I'm usually on Headwaters, but the water level when I was there 4 days ago, I walked over the levee at the spillway on the south end, and the water appeared to be at least 1.5 feet higher than it was just a couple weeks ago, and it looks like it's back to normal.
Almost, yeah, just about.
Yes, it's at normal pool. I was out there and I fished Stick Marsh quite a bit last year, and where I typically fish. From the photos I've seen from some anglers that were out there fishing it when it was low, it's back to normal height. At least for where the water is showing up on the vegetation that kind of hang those mangrove trees or whatever those are on the points there. You could just skip a fluke or whatever underneath there. Now it's pretty much topped out there, so it's a little bit harder to do that.
Yeah, when we went out there, like, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago? I read it was like 6 inches above full pool, actually.
Okay.
So
yeah, so it is a little dirtier. You're right. It is a much dirtier water that I'm used to from fishing out there. I mean, it still was that tannic, like dark, like coffee color, but now it's like that, but you can't. It's murky. Like there's nothing there really filtering it out. I don't think so.
Right.
But the vegetation that they put around that levee is growing. And it looks like a lot of gator grass too. Have y'all noticed that? Yeah, there's a lot of gator grass that's growing in and around those where the taller grass is by the rocks.
I think a lot of that just grew in with the low water level.
Low water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's just natural.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and then Zachariah, just real quick, he just posted on here. They have not cleared the overgrowth from the kayak launch on the Fellsmere side due to the southeastern winds you guys were talking about. Once those winds shift and start blowing in from the north, then they're going to go in and clear out that. As soon as they clear it out with that southeastern wind, it's just going to blow more of those mats up into that area. So they're just waiting for the wind pattern to change.
Yeah, and there's a lot of mats on that lake right now, especially on the west turnout. There's a lot of floating mats and islands out there right now.
Yeah, and even in the S Canal, when we went out there were huge mats that were, you had about this much room to get through the S Canal on a kayak.
Mm-hmm.
So even the S Canal was blocked. I don't know what it was the last time that Sean was there, but when I was there, they were blocked.
It wasn't bad at all last weekend. It was pretty clear all the way down through.
Yeah, so I was there Monday, and it was wide open.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That the wind blew them out.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to show the different types of grass in Florida water.
This could be a good one for you guys to be able to show out there on your show, is the different types of grass that are out on headwaters. That would be great, especially for someone like me or Jeff that's not from Florida. Yeah. When you said gator grass, I had no clue what you're talking about, Bailey.
That changes with who you're talking to. Some guys will call it sawgrass, and it's cattails, and some guys will call it reeds, and it could be something else. It depends on who you're talking to. But yeah, we had discussed that a little while back about the different grasses.
Because I think I know what hyacinth is, but I could be totally wrong.
The water hyacinth floats on the surface. It has a purple flowers. It's got kind of bulbous at the bottom, right above the water level, and then it kind of goes up on the stem, and there's a leaf on the top. And right now, I was out there Monday. It was, even though they're invasive, they're beautiful. They were all blooming. So it just means more water hyacinth that we don't really need. But they just have roots that are not quite as. The roots go a little, not quite as deep as the plant is tall above the water. So
I know, like Sean was talking about some different types of lily pads, one day to me, and he was saying something, and I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. I said, they're just lily pads to me,
Yeah. Some are above the water. I believe those are called spatterdock. There's some out there right now that you see near the flagpole. They're this big, but they mostly sit on the water. Some of those grow above. There is not a lot of lily pads really to speak of in headwaters as compared to other places, say like Kissimmee or Okeechobee.
Three Forks has a lot of
or Garcia's. Garcia's is like
Garcia.
We need to go mow that place.
Yeah.
But
hey, one thing we can talk about though, also outside of grass, is y'all storm shelter.
That's new.
That was put on there. Mm-hmm. There were some questions about that too. And I was just started thinking about that. Is that open?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I haven't been in it. Have you been in it yet?
No.
We may be going fishing tomorrow. It doesn't do any good tonight, but we may be out there tomorrow. I haven't checked it out. It's a storm shelter. It's on one of the islands, about 3/4 of the way down 45.
The 45,
Yeah. So, and it's up high. I don't know. I have concerns about being the highest. On the highest position if there's a thunderstorm.
Is it grounded?
But it looks nice. The guys look like they did a really good job.
It looks fantastic. I saw the pictures of it. I was just curious because if our folks are down there fishing and say one of our afternoon thunderstorms kick up, that could be a great location for you guys to seek shelter in the event of a decent storm that rolls in, because they do roll in.
They will.
It's on Google Maps, so just fire up your Google Maps and hit your directions to the storm shelter, and it'll take you there.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to make sure you're the first one there, Harrelson.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of stole that, Todd. I just saw some questions on here. I wanted to kind of take.
Absolutely, I want you guys to jump in just whenever, because it's wide open here. That's pretty much about what I have. I mean, there was one thing I wanted to ask Dave, but I saw on your website or your Facebook page or something, Dave, and you do some stuff with Heroes on the Water, and I know we have a lot of military guys on here, and I know a lot of our guys want to help out with things like that. So, do you want to promote that a little bit about what you're doing with them?
Absolutely. So we have the Space Coast Heroes on the Water chapter here. They'll have an event every month or every 6 weeks where wounded warriors, if you will, first responders will they'll gather. They'll take them out in kayaks and do fishing if they want to fish. Sometimes they just want to get on the water. I had the privilege of taking a wounded warrior and his dog. So the dog had come back from combat, and one of the guys said, "Hey, Dave, I got a little challenge for you. Got this guy, but he has his dog, and he wants to go with his dog. Will you take him?" I said, "Yeah." So they provide the kayaks. So all they need, if you guys are if anyone's looking to help, it's for someone, a volunteer with a kayak, someone that has a little experience on the water, to go out with these guys. Now you will be assigned 1 to 2, possibly 3 guys, and you just follow them along. You'll have a radio on. There is a rescue boat on the water, so the situation comes up, a boat will meet you and assist. But it is worth a great investment of your time to help these heroes. It's part of their rehabilitation, and a great organization. You can contact me, and I'll put you in contact with the folks that run it. Again, this is it is a national organization with chapters throughout the country.
Yeah, no, I actually saw I follow a couple guys on YouTube that fish and have their channels, and a couple of them do that Heroes on the Water, and I was actually in the process of trying to reach out to someone to see if there was a chapter here in Florida. So I found someone that I can reach out to now, because there are some events that we want we have some anglers that want to do that. So I know I'm one of them. I know Sean would be one of them. But that's something definitely we'd love to link up and go out there and support. So
again, some of them want to fish, others don't. They just want to be on the water, and that's fine. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to reach out to them and help them out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely be getting in touch with you in regards to that. So, yeah,
absolutely, awesome. That's awesome.
Is there anything, Dave and Dan? Is there anything you guys would like to share with our club, and kind of talk about before we move on to some of our priorities as far as the first event for Headwaters and kind of doing those topics?
I don't really have anything necessarily that we haven't discussed. I'm trying to be big on safety and making sure we all go home. I don't have anything else. Do you?
Yeah, well, now, are there a lot of the first timers on Headwaters in that group?
So yeah, if you were watching this, this is going to be your first time ever fishing on Headwaters, go ahead and drop that into the comment section below, and we'll see. I can tell you right now, we have 17 brand new first-time anglers members to our club that have joined so far this year. Do I know if they're first-time fishing Headwaters? No, but I know there's roughly 17 to 18 that are new to our club.
Okay.
I know we have one right here, Hunter. He's new and said he's never fished Headwaters before. So what bit of advice would you give to the angler who's never been out on Headwaters or Stick Marsh for this first event?
Okay. First and foremost, safety. Right, fly that flag. High visibility clothes. plan your day accordingly. But experienced kayaker, watch that weather all the time. Weather can change up here pretty quick. There isn't a lot of areas for taking cover if weather rolls up on you. You will have to hide in the tall grass. So if you're fishing, if you want to fish that day or anytime, there is about a quarter of a mile down the S Canal to the left or to the east. There's an area, a cut we call it the Bay. Great place to start fishing, close to the ramp. If you keep going south, there's another break about a mile,
about a mile and 3/4.
Mile and 3/4 again to the east. Shallow water, but there is fish in there. Then about 2.3 miles, there's a break to the west. Flat area in there. There's some cuts in there. A lot of grass though, so you will be clearing props that day multiple times. So you don't necessarily have to run all the way down the 45 to get into some decent fish. For those of you who don't have the legs or the batteries to get down there.
Yeah. So the first turnout, well, I guess we'll call it the second turnout to the east. That area, just to kind of give you guys have not been on the lake, give you kind of an idea what it is. If you're Floridians, we have orange groves here, not as many as we used to have. They used to be able to orange groves there. Now the trees have been pushed up,
right?
But with the grass now, you can see there's actually the water furrows. So you'll have a line of thick grass, a line of an area where you can see there's not as much grass, not topped out, and then that pattern continues. Once you turn out, now we're talking about a mile and 3/4 down the S Canal to the south. You'll turn to the east. You can start fishing there. Just be careful right there where it meets the S Canal. There will probably be power boats coming through there. Kind of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. And a lot of times the power boaters, we don't slow down and look. That's why we were saying earlier, the flags and the lights, especially early in the morning, so these guys can see you because there's tall water hyacinths in that area. Once you turn out, if you continue south, there's fishable water there. Then you can get to the north pit and the south pit.
Right.
Each one of those are your closest deep water to the ramp. Besides the bay up front, there's about 15 foot is about the deepest in there, but it's a small area, fairly small area. But there's plenty of 20 plus foot of water in the north pit and the south pit. There's seems to always be some fish somewhere in there, but that'll be your closest area of deeper water. So,
now we're talking about to the end of it. It's about 3 miles. It'll be a 3 mile.
Yeah, it'll be a 3 mile hike for you. So it's
from the boat ramp to the farthest south. What's that distance? You said 3 miles.
3 miles is where the east-west canal intersects the S Canal. That's the 3 mile point.
Okay.
Great fishing. It's a good area to.
No fishing in the S Canal though.
No fishing in the S Canal.
You cannot fish in any of the navigational lanes. I'm pretty sure there's a sign right when you enter that canal that they on the left-hand side that says you cannot fish from any of the navigational lanes or whatever. I forgot the verbiage, but yeah.
Right.
Here's a good question right here from Harrelson. When you get to the end of the 45, is it still no fishing all the way to the pit?
No. So the 45 is a totally separate area, which is going to be, you'd have to turn out of the west cut, which is about 2 miles from the boat ramp. You can fish all of the 45. We are talking the S Canal. There's two turnouts, or you can last time when I was there Monday, you could run all the way to the end, the very end of the S Canal. So it's wide open. So I'm only talking about the areas close to the S Canal. The North Pit and South Pit will be on the eastern side of the S Canal. The 45 is quite a ways away from the area we're describing. You can fish all of that. The S Canal, about full length all the way to the farthest levee you can get to is about 3 miles.
So 3 miles to the east-west canal.
Is it 3 miles to the
east-west? It's 3 miles to the intersection of the east-west canal, and then you got another
maybe quarter mile.
About a quarter mile to that levee.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out on Google Maps, or say if you got an iPhone, your Maps feature, go in there, hit the satellite button. You can start getting some ideas. Those things have changed. Google Earth is going to be more up to date.
Yeah. Well, no, that's awesome tips there, Dave and Dan, for you guys, first time anglers, and for those of you that just fished it before or hadn't fished it in the past couple of years. That was a really good rundown of that layout, and hopefully that helps some of you guys in making your decision. We talked a lot about headwaters, but we didn't talk too much about the stick marsh side, other than the fact of the water level and the vegetation there. But for the is there anything you'd like to give for the stick marsh side, or is that you guys more of the headwaters?
Well, to me, the stick marsh right now, with the lack of vegetation, depending on the day of your tournament, if there's a lot of wind on that day, you got to mind the wind. It can get rough out there because there's no vegetation, especially in the stick marsh portion. So you got stick marsh as a northern square, Farm 13 is the southern square. They're all attached. You can get through there. I would really be concerned about wind if it's getting blown up pretty good. But I have not personally fished on stick marsh other than walking over the levee at the spillway in quite a while because I couldn't get the boat in the water. But where I normally fish is way on the south, and that's where I prefer, way at the south end of Farm 13, which is probably 5-6 miles.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question, for all the way down at the Farm 13 side of it. That's where you see all the boaters go, right? I've never been past the levee that divides, that intersects there. I've fished the backside of that levee, but never went any further other than where the sticks kind of pop out about 50-60 yards off of that levee on the other side. But yeah, so that was my next question. So it's about 5 miles, you would say?
I think it's pretty. It's a long ways. If you have any kind of north wind in a kayak, it's going to be bad.
From a kayak, I fish that bank, the bank to the east, to the middle levee. There's breaks in that levee. There's a couple of breaks.
There's 3.
Yeah, the wind can be a friend in those breaks.
And it's a pretty good fishing.
No, we had quite a few anglers last year that went out there and did really well. Actually, big fish came out of stick marsh at our event last year. Was the 23.5, I believe, which is shocking, surprisingly, how many big fish come out of headwaters. So you guys have
I'm sorry.
No,
my catch rate, when stick marsh is on, the catch rates are just as good, sometimes better than headwaters. But again, I haven't been on it during, say February, March. I'm talking way down the south end is where I typically fish, but I got a powerboat, so it's easier for me to get there. The reason that guys were fishing down there is because there's a huge amount of stumps. There's a lot of wood that's still in the water that hasn't rotted and gone. For us powerboaters, we can get hung up down there, but there's been eelgrass, and that was the main area on the lake that had a lot of grass, and which since has changed. I don't know if being that they roared the water, if some of that grass has come back, but it's a hike down there.
I was going to take 2 batteries and go just see if I could even make it down there and back in one day. Not something you want to try on tournament day, but I was gonna take a Sunday and just go down there and just see if I could get from point A to point B, and make it back in one piece. So that 5 miles is that's great information for you anglers out there that might be thinking to do that. So Christopher Blanco is actually one of our new members here, but has a fairly large social media following too.
Cool.
So awesome.
So what is the juice out there right now? Is it drop shotting a spinnerbait with a buzz frog on the back of it?
How did you know?
Secret's out.
Yeah, the secret's out. I gotta change.
It's actually it's right above them, kind of above their head right there.
Big Rapala. I don't know. You want to answer some of that, or you want me to?
No, you go.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little caveat to this. Guiding, my goal, a lot of times I have a lot of anglers that aren't really proficient. So a lot of what I do is to put people on fish and get them catching fish when they're not proficient anglers. So some of the things I do maybe would probably not always be what I would do in a tournament situation. However, I'll tell you a lot of the things that I fish that I've caught big fish on, and I can catch good numbers. I throw a lot of swimming worms. I know a lot of guys throw a lot of swim baits out there. Just a regular, like, we're hooked up with American Bait Works. We use a lot of the bopper and the mega bopper. Great baits. Use that a lot. I'll throw a square bill a ton if I can work it around the grass. It's labor intensive at times, but I can put a lot of fish in the boat with that. I have been doing a little drop shotting over the summer. Things get tough. You can catch some fish on drop shot. Typically, a lot of them are going to be smaller size fish. In the areas that I've been fishing, which I fish a lot of the midsection of the lake. In the cooler months, man, a hard jerk back. It should keep my mouth shut about that.
Hey, I'm telling you, that thing is money.
When I say I caught, typically I mean my customers caught. I had some really good days and some big fish on hard jerk baits. Fluke have been doing pretty well on a fluke lately. I mean, flukes are like
everywhere. All the time. So the one thing I noticed out there was the bait fish that are out there right now. That if you can match that, fluke is typically what'll do the trick out there, right? With how much grass is in there, I'm telling you, it's good once you find the right spot. So,
and I will tell you, the guys have a video where y'all were out fluke fishing one day.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, Dave, you were doing something a little different than Dan was doing, and you were catching some. It was, if I'm not mistaken, on that video.
Right. What were you doing that day?
I don't know. I was getting spanked by you. He was fishing. He was fishing a fluke. I think you were fishing it slow.
The real slow. It was baby bass zoom, and I was fishing it really slow. I was just letting it drop, and then boom, boom, boom. Well, you were more. I was swimming working it. Yeah. And that day. The slow and steady worked.
Yeah, it worked out really good. The area that we found those fish in turned out to be a phenomenal location, and my customers boated a lot of fish in that area. It's changed now. I'm not going to say where it was in case it's good this year. It doesn't matter.
But don't give us the loot.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you all the stuff. But it's that back in January, February, it was a really good location. Then it quit. But it had to do with spawn and the fish were moving.
Yeah.
The fluke lately, I had a fellow and his wife on the boat here the week before last. He was throwing a pearl white fluke. I typically throw natural colors. And, a lot of times if I'll be quiet and listen, I can my people catch more fish than if they do what I say sometimes. So white fluke, and then if I'm in real clear water, I'll like natural colors. But just the other added information, like if you guys are, say, your western turnout, which is about 2 3/4 of a mile down the canal, is that what he said? Yeah, about 2 3/4 of a mile. When you turn out to the west, and I'm kind of changing subjects, just something in my mind here. I know most everybody has electronics. If you want to go to the 45, 250 degrees from the west turnout will take you directly to the flagpole.
We didn't mention the flagpole. We put up a flagpole about a year and a half ago. It's right at the intersection of the east-west canal and the 45. There's a flagpole there, so that'll give you. If everything else fails, you can get your bearings.
Yeah, and so when you turn out there as well, just to give these guys, especially if you're not there on the lake, if you turn out to the west, it's all flat. So picture it was all cow pastures at one time in that particular area, and most of the hydrilla there close is topped out, but you can still see the original drainage ditches. The ones that run east and west are going to be a little bit deeper and wider. Then there's fewer of them. Then there's ones that run north and south. They're going to be about 2 to 3 times as wide as your kayak. And you can navigate through some of that, and you can catch some fish out of there too. Yeah. So just a little food for thought.
Awesome. Well, Dave and Dan, I think you guys spilled enough of the juice to give the novice angler or the angler who has never fished headwaters a good starting point.
Good.
So hopefully you
I was
guys.
gonna,
Sorry. Yep.
I was gonna bring up one more thing. The entrance on the west side in the Egan. That's no fishing right there. That little cut that goes down in Egan to the south. Once you get through that entrance, are you able to run and fish that canal along the west wall? Once you enter that area?
And most of the signage is gone there for that location. So I don't know. I've not seen that enforced anymore in that particular place. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, you can
Short
fish.
stretch there.
You're only talking 100 yards there.
Yeah. And that's where all the boats are going through. So it's
right. And that's the only way to the south. So if you're looking on Google Maps, guys, you'll see the water control structure at the southeast corner of Farm 13. We're talking directly across the levee from that. That is the only way to get to Egan. I was down in that area on Monday. I was doing more of a sightseeing trip, and it has changed a lot down there. The very, very southernmost end of what they call Egan, I believe, has been sprayed, like nuked.
Heavy.
So, I know you guys have been down there. The water is kind of dingy, dirty with particulate in it. Most of the hydrilla is not topped out. A lot of the floating hyacinth are gone. So they sprayed it. Evidently, they sprayed it a while back, and a lot of that stuff has sunk and very muddy. Daryl says very muddy. But think about that. Sometimes that causes fish to start moving, and where are they going to move? Usually cleaner water. So that spraying, I think most of it. It's a square pond. You can obviously find that on a map. Square Pond. There's another pit just south. Square Pond's a deeper water area. For you guys who don't know, there's another pond, or I guess you call it a pit, to the east of that, and a little south. But a few hundred yards south of those, I'd say 500 yards south of those two pits there in Egan, the whole south end has been sprayed here a while back, and the water's dirty.
Yeah. Then this is an area where typically had
crystal clear water.
Crystal clear water. So.
But again, that kind of stuff can cause fish to start moving and to go search cleaner water, which is close by. So just food for thought.
I'll give you all some food for thought. This is my new safety flag this year.
Yeah, we keep seeing that.
Hey, y'all brought it up. This is flying on my Hobie this year.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, if y'all see this on the Hobie, it's me. So just stop by and say hi.
I know no boy's an Alabama fan. You better watch out.
Well, here's the bad thing with Bailey's though. His kayak will be underwater. All you'll see is the flag sticking up out of the water.
Y'all come help a guy out if you see that Georgia flag flying.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys being on here and taking the time of your evening to spend with us and giving us the lowdown there on Headwaters. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to shout out any of your social media, anything that you want us to know about you guys, or how we can contact you guys to book a trip with you.
Okay, well, we both have Facebook pages and websites, so you can look us up. Living Waters Kayaking.
My website is fishhand.net.
So if you guys want to send us those addresses, we'll post them on our Facebook page too.
Okay.
Yeah. And our Hooked On Headwaters, the Hooked On Headwaters website has all that information as well.
Is your YouTube channel is Hooked On Headwaters. So what I'm going to do is we've subscribed to it. I'm going to go and get your link, and I'll put that and post that on our Facebook sites as well. So you guys make sure you go like and subscribe to Dave and Dan with Hooked on the Headwaters, and stay up to date and current on all things Headwaters Stick Marsh. So
thank you.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you guys. Thank you for having us. It's been
absolutely
great chat.
I'm so glad we ran into you there at ICAST. That was awesome.
That was good.
And you guys can go back and check the video out that Todd did with us Promoting the tournament trail. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we ran into you.
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm glad I'm not the lowest viewed page that y'all have from iCast.
Well, let's not talk about that. Some of them are interesting people and some of them not.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going back to iCast this year with some folks. So we'll definitely be sure to link up with you guys back out there and do a video there then too. So we appreciate you guys. We got a lot of good feedback, some good questions were asked, and thank you guys for answering those. And let's think, or maybe we can bring you guys back on after the event and kind of give you guys a recap on how it went. So
maybe I'd love to join you on one of the events. Maybe on the front.
Yeah. Well, you
guys, we would love to have you come out and join, with us. It's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy it.
If you guys know kayak anglers that are looking for a trail as well, give them our information. We'll definitely get them all spun up on what to do and kind of that whole scene. But my wife is making ice cream at the moment, so sorry about that. But no, definitely, if you guys want to come out and fish and try out the kayak bass fishing trail, then definitely come on out and we'll let you guys join the club. So
awesome, cool.
Yeah, and Dan, sorry, but the 21-foot Ranger won't be able to go. You'll have to downsize.
You can't make an exception.
It'll be 11-foot bona fide coming your way, or 12-foot bona fide.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to carry on my gear.
Yeah. We'll put a 3-horse
you
on the
would be
back
surprised
of it.
what some of these people will put in their kayak. I'm one of them. I'll have probably 10 to 12 rods in mine. So, I when I had a bass boat, I didn't carry that many rods on my bass boat.
What's wrong with you? I've got like 26 or 27. I mean, come on.
You got 2 hands, right? And 2 feet.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, there are tools in your toolbox. If you don't have the right tool,
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys coming on. We're going to go ahead and let you guys go, and we're going to just finish out our evening with about a 10-minute wrap up on what to expect for the next event. So thank you guys, and we look forward to seeing y'all again here in the future.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas.
Great one.
Thank you, guys. See you.
All right. That was fantastic. That was a good hour or so getting to speak with Dave and Dan with the Hooked On Headwaters crew. So we appreciate you guys coming on and asking those questions and joining us tonight. There are a few things that I'm going to cover in regards to the upcoming event and just some quick membership stuff that I kind of want to cover. And then Todd has some things that he's going to introduce and kind of show you and then answer any other last minute questions. So real quick, just to kind of give you guys an update on the 13 fishing post. If you guys didn't see my post on the members only page, for those of you that had your accounts sent to 13 Fishing, if you met that September 1st deadline, if you were a member of last year and you had a 13 Fishing account, please go on and try to sign in with your same username and password. And let me know if that works. Give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't work, let me know. Dan over at 13 Fishing is going to have his team send out the welcome emails again this coming Monday, which is the 4th, I believe, right? The 2nd or the 4th of October, whatever this Monday is.
Second.
The 2nd. So they're going to have their team send out those links for you guys. So pay attention to your inbox and your spam or junk folder if they go there. So just bear with us. We're working with them. They're working with us, and we're trying to get that taken care of. For some reason, some members' accounts got reactivated, and maybe some didn't. But just let us know, and we will do our best to get that squared away for you. The next order of business that we're going to talk about is this is the last weekend for Saturday will be the last day for you to submit your fish for the September monthly. And remember, starting in October, the new rules, and Sean, we'll have to make those update the rules and put the newer updated version into the Fishing Chaos. So I'll get with you after this. But the new rules are in effect starting 1 October. So if you do not have a copy of the rules on our Fishing Chaos platform on the main dashboard page, you will see in Fishing Chaos, when you register for that tournament, it will say rules. You click that link and it'll open up the rules that have been established for the 2024 season. Registration will open for the October monthly here tomorrow. Registration will be open for the October monthly challenge starting on October 1st, which is when? Sunday. So that will go into effect for you to register for that. I'm sorry that it isn't live now. I got caught up in some things and completely forgot about it. So I will work on creating that tonight and posting it on our Facebook page. So you can go ahead and register for that monthly challenge. Registration is open for the October 14th event for the Fellsmere Stick Marsh. Right now, Sean, what are we at? 10 anglers have signed up, or 6?
I'll pull it up. It was 6 last time we talked.
Yeah. So right
kayak
now,
anglers are being slow again. Typical.
Yes.
Let's get signed up, people.
Yeah, you guys, the longer you guys wait to sign up, the longer it's going to take for us to be able to, for Fishing Chaos to release that money into the bank account. The quicker you sign up, the quicker that money gets released, and the quicker we can pay our anglers. If you guys wait till Friday at the last minute to sign up, the money will not be available to us until about Wednesday or Thursday the following week, to be able to even pay out the anglers for that. So we didn't implement the week prior to cut off the registration. That's just not something we thought would be necessary, but hopefully you guys take the initiative and get signed up ahead of time so that we can get an accurate count as well, and the money being available to pay out our anglers as quick as possible. So with that, membership is still open. Right now we're sitting at 56 members. Out of those 56, 17 of those are new to the club. This will be their first year fishing with the Florida Kayak Bass Trail. So what does that mean for us that were a part of the club last year, right? So there's going to be some new folks, new faces that you're going to see out and around the boat ramps. Be mindful of that. Be courteous to those folks if they have questions, and you have the answer to it. Just be courteous enough to answer that question. Inform them of the rules in a professional manner. If one of those anglers, I'll get to that here in a minute, Todd. If you see an angler on the water that might not be following the rule, right? Don't just assume. Just go up there and ask them, hey, are you a member of the FKBT? And are you aware that you have to have your life vest on for the duration of the tournament, right? It's the angler's responsibility to make sure that they are familiar with every rule. You guys initial off on that for each event, and when you register for the series. So making sure that you guys know that you're going to be held accountable for that, but taking care of that in your own in a professional way will go a long way. And then Jeff, I don't see a KBF monthly for October. Does anyone know if they decided? So not Todd. Chad made a video on that, on why there's not a October monthly. So who do we need to send our registration to for motorized jacks? If you would like to send it to me, you can send it to the Florida Kayak Bass Trail at yahoo.com. Or Sean, can you type that in the comments? So you can send it to there, but it wasn't a requirement for us. That is if you have a motor on your kayak, you need to make sure that your kayak is registered. If for any reason you get pulled over by the FWC, and you're operating a motorized kayak without the proper safety measures, protocols, and no registration, that is going to be on you. We haven't talked about it or discussed about it, that being a requirement for us, but
I think one of the things that we did say, Bailey, is if they're in the money, we may we will check your registration if you do have a motorized kayak, just to make sure. So
registration, fishing license.
Yes. So that
you will get DQ'd.
Yep. So that was what I was going to bring up right after that, is if you are in the top 3, and in the money, yes. Like they just said, you are grounds instead of doing, the lie detector. The lie detector test determined you were lying. We're gonna ask to see a fishing license. Make sure that all anglers have a current fishing license. We will ask to see your registration. And what else did you say? The license and registration, right? And life vest and catch board, making sure everyone's using the catch board. We're going to see that on the photo submissions, but we do have 17 new anglers. Catch boards are the approved measuring device for the trail today, and will be for the first event. Once Yak Attack releases theirs, that could potentially be an approved measuring device for our trail. And yes, Nathaniel, just make sure that you guys have a copy of it, of your current registration with you on your person, just in the event that we do check it. Random inspections. Yes, David Myers, don't forget the correct lights. This is a quick plug. We are not sponsored by them. I'm reached out to them. But Guardian Angel lights is a fantastic rechargeable navigational light that is magnetic, or you can screw it on like you would like a GoPro mount. They are fantastic. The only downside to that is the lifespan. The battery life is not very long. So make sure you can keep it plugged into a battery or to a power source. You'll be squared away. And then your 360 light. I know Chris Clutter just sent me a link. There's one that he found off of academysports.com. It's like $34, and it's a flag and a light. It's kind of like the Yak Attack, but the Yak Attack pole is $99. The one that he found on Academy was like $34. That would suffice for your flag and your 360 light. I will post a link to Chad Hoover's video, but if you go to Chad Hoover Fishing, that on his video on his YouTube channel, you will be able to find it there. It'll take me a minute to sort through which video it was, but it was one of his national championship videos he posted like a month ago. He talked very briefly about September being the last monthly until a certain time frame. I don't know when they're planning on starting that back up, but yeah, if I can find that, Jeff, I'll send it to you. But if you find it before me, just let me know. Yeah, so correct lights, making sure you're squared away. I know there's anglers in our club that bring extra lights, or not extra lights, bring extra catch boards. This year, I'm going to have an extra flag in case someone forgot theirs, but I will not have an extra 360 light or an extra navigational light. So if that's something you have, fantastic, to help out another angler. But yeah, just make sure you are following all the rules, all the new updates. You are aware of all these changes so that you are not disqualified from an event.
Let me throw a tip out there. This is a great tip to have in your kayak. I bought a little bitty flashlight at Walmart that actually has like a little pop-up deal that's clear. So it will have a 360 on it, and it's just a little cheap flashlight. And so keep that, get one of them, keep it in your boat, get a zip tie in case if your light dies, something happens to the bulb, whatever, you actually have a backup that you can strap on there real quick if you need to. So just a little, always having a backup plan is a good thing.
So, and I'm about to pull this up here. It's $34 on Amazon, but this is a fantastic light, and it's United States Coast Guard approved. It's a 360 Kayak white light, and I will show you guys this. It's approved by the. It's actually $17. It's a Goodsman light. It looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's $16.99 off of Amazon. It has the navigational lights and the white light on top, and it's a suction cup. It also acts as a flashlight. So if you guys go on Facebook for $17, you guys can have that. I will post that on the members only page too.
Yeah, it's always good to have just a backup in your kayak just in case. You never know what's going to happen. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really good. Thank you guys for bringing up that safety piece. I know we talked about registration opening up for the FKBT monthly challenge. One thing I forgot to mention on that and to be aware of, and for folks that might not have watched the previous lives or read the rules, if you are participating in the Florida Kayak Bass Trail monthly challenge from October through the end of the season, so that's October through May or June of this coming year, those monthly challenges, the only eligible bodies of water from October through June to the end of our championships are lakes that are on our schedule for the 2023-2024 season. If you submit a fish from, say, Tanarock, or say Kenansville, or say, a body of water that's not on theirs, whenever the judges are going through and judging it, that fish is going to be DQ'd. One thing that I did, I got notified of. Yeah, I'll hear in a minute. One thing I did get notified of was there was an angler in this monthly challenge who had the identifier code in the photo, but the identifier code, it's FK9. In the photo, it was like K9F. So be sure that you pay it. That again, that's not the correct identifier code. Those fish were DQ'd. Just know that in a tournament, it is very, very specific. If it is 1, 2, 3, it needs to be 1, 2, 3 on the identifier card. If not, our judges are going to be disqualifying those fish, right? So pay attention to those details and make sure that you're squared away on that end. But I just wanted to clarify up the eligibility water, the water that's eligible for this monthly challenge starting in October. But just so there's no confusion. But yeah, thank you guys for participating in those monthlies. There's money that we're getting right back into the anglers, but we are pulling a little bit of that back and we're putting it towards the championship. So that's another way that we're making our championship better this year. Chris O'Razi said, "Can we use our cards from last year?" Todd, I'll let you answer that question and move into your segment.
All right, cool. So yes, you can use your card from last year, starting out, but you will receive one of our new cards this year, if you can see that. So this is going to be our new cards. It's featuring Van Hunks, which is one of our main sponsors for our AOI this year. And they have sponsored our cards too. So that's why they're the only sponsor on our cards this year. We're going to have a lot more space so that we can write a lot more room on there. So you can put multiple numbers on IDs on there if you need to, or write it larger so you can see it real well. So we will have those at the boat ramps. We will be giving them out that morning, I guess. If you don't get one, use last year's. I've made some that are printable. So I know Chris is going to upload that into the files section on our Facebook page, and you can print that off and use that as well. So it will look the same, except it's just a paper format. So after our first event, these will be the ones that we'll be using going forward,
Yes. And if you can't make the first event and you come to the second event, you will be able to get your PBC one at the mandatory check-in at the end of the tournament. But if you can't make it to the first event and you plan on fishing the second event, yes, you can still use last year's until you get a new one. But we encourage you to use the new code. I'm going to post a link. I'm going to a file on our members only page. It's a PDF file. You take it, you print it out, and it'll fit into one of those ID card holders that you get off of Catch, or the ones that you see on the Catch boards today. So there shouldn't be any reason why you would have to use next year or last year's ID card. But for the first event, I get it. You guys use the PVC one. They float. It's easier, so that's why we're allowing it for the first event.
Yeah. The next thing we got, one of the things in the rules for this year is a contrast mark on the end of your bump board, whether it's one that's already engraved or some sticker that you have on there. We're going to be giving out FKBT stickers that will fit on the end of your bump board. That way it's easier for the judges to tell whether you've got your fish bumped, mouth up to it, and be able to see that, making that contrast mark. So we've got black and we've got white that will be given out at the check-in as well. And then last but not least, we have FKBT decals that we can have for, our kayaks, car windows, whatever you want to stick them onto. So,
yeah. So each person will get one of the small ones, one of the large one, and the PVC identifier card at the mandatory check-in. That's going to be at the Stick Marsh Pavilion in the parking lot there. And then if you guys want extra after everyone gets one, we will be selling stickers, both of those stickers, for if you want extra ones as well.
Yep. And then there's one more, and we really hope we have a lot of people that are able to get this sticker at this event. But it is, let me see if I can get this around here. Yeah.
Move it that way. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. It's the FKBT 100 Plus Club. So
the Hammer Club.
The Hammer Club. We want a lot of our members to join that club this year. So we have stickers to give out each time that you hit that 100 plus mark in an event. You will be awarded a sticker. So we would love to see a lot of individuals have their kayaks or whatever loaded up with those stickers this year.
Yeah, and then just real quick, Todd, before we move on over to Sean and letting him talk, I see Snurley, I'm not sure who that is, but they're watching from YouTube. I will need to meet someone morning of second event to get one. Snurley, you will be able to, I will send you an email if you want to send me a message privately, or you can go onto our members only page. Instead of meeting someone or anticipating to meet someone at the second event the morning of, which is going to be extremely hard to do for time purposes and just logistical. It could be a logistical nightmare. Go ahead and just print out the paper version of the identifier and use that. And then at the mandatory check-in, we'll get you squared away with a PVC card.
And if he's north of Ocala, I'm up here, fairly close. So maybe if he's around this area, I'm right here at the Villages. So, I maybe can meet him and give him one. Before the second event.
Get in contact with us and we'll get you squared away. And if you guys are out fishing, pre-fishing, and you see some of us or you see Todd or whatever, just hit us up and let us know, and we can get you squared away before the event as well. So, yeah. And I was gonna, what else? I had something literally just on my tongue that I was gonna mention. It'll come to my mind. I know, Sean, is there anything that I think you had to add, right? What did we talk about? I forgot.
Nothing really. I mean, so if you guys look at the Google Map link I sent in the members only page, each one of those points that are dropped on the Google Earth map have notes associated with them. So the one over the boat ramp, loofah sponge on.
That's going to be my flag. That's going to be my flag.
We don't talk about the loofahs. No, but each one of those points has notes under it, like Headwaters boat ramp, 2 lanes, right? That canal on the north end of Headwaters that goes east-west has a blue dot on it. It says off limits if you read the notes. So that east-west canal on the north end of Headwaters is off limits. And then over on the northwest corner of Headwaters, right there where Stick Marsh boat ramp is at, it has actually, I think I deleted it, but there's 2 pins on there. It says Stick Marsh kayak launch, which is kind of a dirt launch right now. I think they're still in the process of kind of making it legitimate, but there's people who've been launching out of it. And then you have the Headwaters kayak launch. In regards to the kayak launch, so you're going to have to launch in proximity to the Headwaters kayak launch. Now, I understand we'll probably I'll take a look at it, but we'll say within 200 yards is a safe bet. The way I personally did it last year is just cart your kayak down the levee and then cart it down the hill and pulled it up to the water. And there's going to be plenty of anglers there. So like we always do, when we meet up at these lakes, we always help each other. So help out your fellow anglers at the kayak launch. It's kind of tough, but once you get in the water, enjoy that 5 pounds of mud inside your kayak. but it's not too bad. I haven't seen any crazy wildlife down there. Besides, there's a little resident gator that lives down there. He's like 4 or 5 foot long, but he won't mess with you. But other than that, I know there was a question on the S Canal. The S Canal is the Headwaters boat ramp, which is marked on that overlay. That canal that runs down the south, that's the S Canal. It goes it's like 3.25 miles or 3.25 miles all the way down to like another levee. You're going to hit a wall. Most likely you're going to hit hydrola first. And there's some like floating mats right there. But that's the S Canal. And then you're going to hit the East-West Canal. Then East-West Canal, you're going to see the flag that takes you down the 45 all the way down to Egan. If you're daring to make that long run, just remember you got to get back. Time management's on the anglers. You got to get at the specified time. We're going to look at the launch times because right now I just checked it. It's 7:22 sunrise, so 6:22 is going to be the earliest time we can get on the water. So we'll make sure we get out a clear timeline for you guys and make any changes on the Fishing Chaos registration page, and we'll brief it specifically at the captain's meeting. That what are we doing, Thursday?
Yep. So I was actually going to talk about that. I got the calendar pulled up right now. So for those of you that are watching now and potentially watching here, at a later time, we have next Thursday, we're going to be going over budget, everything that we're going to do as far as budget wise for this year. And that's payouts per event, per angler. I worked on that all the past couple of days, trying to get that laid out so that we can present that to you guys. So you guys are aware of kind of how the payouts are going to look like this year and what our overall goal is for this year as far as raising money for the championship and angler of the year, so on and so forth. So just like we did last year, we're going to inform you guys on where the money's going or what the plan is and how we're executing the membership fees that you guys paid for this year on top of the monthly fees that you guys are paying to fish the monthly and the regular season trail event. So we will be going over that on 5 October. The link's already been posted on our members only page and our Facebook pages. So you guys don't want to miss that because we're going to go over that. We're going to go over briefly the new rules. We're going to give you guys a rundown again, a little snapshot of all the rule changes. And there's a bunch of things that we're going to go over with for our club specific. It's going to be like a general membership meeting on the 5th. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be a great opportunity to where you guys see what our goal is for 2024. So you guys don't want to miss that. But on October 12th at 7 p.m., that's Thursday, is going to be the mandatory captain's meeting. For those of you that haven't joined our club, or this is your first year joining the club, every Thursday at 7 p.m. on the event leading up to the event, is when we will be doing our mandatory captain's meeting. What that does is if you can't make it on Thursday, it gives you a whole day to be able to watch it back on where it's not live, but you can watch the recorded version and make sure that you guys watch it. Myself, Todd, and Sean, we monitor that. We ask that you drop your name in the comment section below saying, hey, I read it. That's you pretty much saying you're good to go. You understand what the requirements are for the tournament, and we're solid. So that will be October 12th at 7 p.m. here on Facebook and YouTube. One thing I remember what I was going to talk about for you guys, for those of you that are new to our club and maybe new to Fishing Chaos, which is our tournament management system. If you guys go to the members only page, I have posted the Fishing Chaos YouTube channel there. If you open that up, there's a bunch of how-to videos that they've already generated and created that can help you on the water. Right. A big one here is making sure that your location services are on and the app is updated. So on that YouTube channel, those videos are there from the creators of Fishing Chaos and that system. So what better way to get that information than there? We will do a quick rundown on the 5th of October on what it looks like and kind of how to quick interfaces of that app. But I posted that on there for you guys to see. And yeah, so fish the October monthly and you can submit fish while pre-fishing as well. So very good point, Jeff. If you guys register for the October monthly challenge, it's a $30 entry fee into the monthly challenge, and $10 big bass for that monthly challenge. Big bass, that $10, it's 100% payout for the monthly challenge. Don't get this confused with the regular season challenge or the regular season event. But for the monthly, it's $30 for the regular ticket, and the fish you catch in pre-fishing will go towards it. And then the fish you catch during the tournament, guess what? You can submit that during that event. So you kind of get an opportunity there to double your chances, right, and kind of winning some money. But also after that event, whenever you go and pre-fish or you're fishing in another tournament like Bass Nation or Slate Nation in October, you can upload those fish as well, just making sure that you're using the correct identifier. But yes, thank you for bringing that up, Jeff. And yes, if you win at Headwaters, you'll be in a good position to win both. Yeah, there's a good chance for that. But it's a good opportunity for you guys to kind of, double dip and win your way into the championship if you just failed to do well during the tournaments. But yeah, make sure you guys check out that Fishing Chaos link if you guys have questions on how to use that platform. And then make sure you guys are reading the rules. And if you haven't already, or if you have not received a FKBT liability waiver from me, please reach out to me. I will post it again on our members only page to where you can download that, fill it out, and then send it back to the Florida Kayak Bass Trail at yahoo.com. All waivers need to be filled out before you can participate in the first event. So if you have a waiver that is not filled out or on file, and you fish the event, you will be, and we find out that, or we know that you did not sign a waiver, you will be disqualified from that event, and your scores will be removed. So make sure you take care of all the necessary paperwork leading up to that event, and we will be good. I will be posting all this stuff that we're talking about here on the page momentarily following this podcast. So that's what I have, guys. We're at 1 hour and 36 minutes. And we can cover a lot more of this on October 5th. And if you guys are watching this afterwards, or if you're watching this now and you get some questions tomorrow or the next day, hold on to those until the 5th and ask them on the podcast then, so that we can answer it over the air. So we appreciate that. Did I miss anything, Sean or Todd, that you guys need to add?
I think we got it all covered. It was a good night. Great night.
Okay, yeah. It was a fantastic night. We've had a pretty consistent showing and following here on our podcast these past couple weeks. If you could, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow all of our social media accounts so that we can spread this trail. We can grow the FKBT community, and we can have a successful 23-24 season that we're already destined to kind of have. So we appreciate your support. I know Sean and Todd and I have been working diligently and pretty hard at getting everything, and Clutter as well, Chris, on the back end, trying to get this season underway. And I know, Todd, we didn't talk about the jerseys either, but that's something, if you want to, they're getting worked on.
Yeah. So they are at the, they are in with the company that's going to be doing them, and they are laying out the design on them. They were hoping that they would have the proof back to me this week. It is a busy time of year for them all the way around. So as soon as I get the proofs back, I will, Bailey, one of us, will share it out on our Facebook page so that everybody can see them,
Yeah. And then you guys can start that ordering process. But again, I just want to give you guys that quick update again on the jerseys, so I know folks were interested about that. But again, we appreciate you guys. We thank you for staying tuned with us here for this past hour and a half. Thanks to Dave and Dan with Hooked On Headwaters for taking their time out of their day to come and share some knowledge with us on our first event. So again, peace out. Have a good weekend, and hopefully you guys are out there catching some fish and getting ready for the October 14th event. So
yep. Be safe, everyone.